I noticed something a few weeks ago that honestly changed the way I think about groceries. I was cleaning out my grandmother's pantry after she moved into a smaller place, and I found cans of food she had stored over 5 years ago. 5 years. And when I opened one up out of curiosity, it looked and smelled completely fine. That got me thinking. Most people are spending hundreds of dollars every month on food that goes bad within days, sometimes within hours. Meanwhile, there is an entire category of foods that can last for years and years and still taste great and still nourish your family. And almost nobody is building their pantry around them. Nobody is talking about how much money you could save over the next 2 or 3 years just by knowing what to stock and when to buy it. That is exactly what this video is about. I am going to walk you through 15 foods that last for years and can save you serious money down the road. And when we get to number 11, you will not believe how long this one lasts. Most people throw it away thinking it has gone bad when it is actually still perfectly fine. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe because I share videos like this every single week. Insider knowledge that helps you stay ahead of rising prices and make smarter decisions with your money. Let us get right into it. Item number 1. White rice. This is the foundation of long-term food storage, and honestly, it is one of the most underrated money savers out there. White rice, when stored properly in a cool, dry place, can last 25 to 30 years. That is not a typo. 30 years. And right now, in 2026, rice prices have been climbing steadily. Global supply chains are still under pressure. Export restrictions from major producing countries have tightened things up, and grocery store prices reflect that. I looked this up myself a few months ago and compared what I was paying for a 20-pound bag of white rice at Walmart versus what the same bag cost in 2022. The difference was almost 40%. That is a significant jump. And industry analysts are saying it is not going back down anytime soon because demand is growing faster than supply in several key regions. Here is what you should do. Buy white rice in bulk now. 25-pound bags from Costco or Sam's Club are your best bet. Transfer it into food-grade 5-gallon buckets with oxygen absorbers and a tight sealing lid. You can find those on Amazon for just a few dollars. Stored like that, your rice will outlast most things in your house. This is not about panic. This is about locking in today's price before it climbs even further. You do not want to look back a year from now and wish you had grabbed an extra bag or two. Item number 2. Dried beans. If rice is the foundation, then dried beans are the walls. Together, they form a complete protein, which means you are getting real nutrition for pennies per serving. Dried beans, including pinto beans, black beans, kidney beans, and lentils, can last 10 years or more when stored in airtight containers. Some sources say up to 30 years if you use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. What surprised me is how few people actually buy dried beans anymore. Most people reach for the canned version, which costs 3 to 4 times more per serving and has a much shorter shelf life. I spoke to someone who works in food distribution, and they told me that dried bean sales have actually gone up about 18% in the last year because more families are catching on. But it is still a fraction of what it could be. Go to your nearest warehouse store and pick up a 10-pound bag of pinto beans or black beans. The cost per meal is almost nothing. Store them the same way you store rice. Cool, dry, and sealed. When prices spike, or when your grocery budget gets tight, you will already have months of meals sitting in your pantry ready to go. That is what being prepared actually looks like. Not panic buying, smart buying. Item number 3. Honey. This one blows people's minds when they hear it. Honey does not expire. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old, and it was still edible. The natural composition of honey, its low moisture content, and its acidity make it virtually impossible for bacteria to grow in it. It may crystallize over time, but that does not mean it has gone bad. You just warm it up gently, and it goes right back to its liquid state. I used to throw away honey when it got cloudy or hard. I did that for years. And then I learned the truth, and honestly, I felt a little foolish. That crystallized honey sitting in the back of my cabinet was perfectly fine. I had been wasting money replacing something that never needed replacing. Here is the smart move. Buy raw, unfiltered honey in bulk. Look for local beekeepers or check Costco for larger containers. Raw honey also has additional health benefits that processed honey does not. Store it at room temperature away from direct sunlight. You never have to worry about it going bad. Never. In a world where food prices keep climbing, having a sweetener that literally lasts forever is a quiet little financial advantage most people overlook. Item number 4. Rolled oats. Oats are one of those foods that most people think of as a breakfast item and nothing more. But rolled oats stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers can last up to 30 years. And they are incredibly versatile. You can make oatmeal, obviously, but you can also grind them into flour, use them in baking, add them to smoothies, or make homemade granola bars. When I checked the price of a large canister of rolled oats at Walmart last month, it was still under $5. That is one of the best deals in the entire grocery store. But here's the thing. Oat prices have been quietly rising because of weather disruptions in major growing regions. Canada, which produces a huge share of the world's oats, has dealt with drought conditions, and that is putting upward pressure on prices. Buy a few extra canisters now. Better yet, buy in bulk from a restaurant supply store or online. Transfer them into sealed Mylar bags or 5-gallon buckets. For the cost of a fast food meal, you can store enough oats to feed your family breakfast for months. That math is hard to argue with. And when you see the price go up another $1 or $2 next year, you will be glad you moved early. Item number 5. Powdered milk. This is one that most people completely ignore, and I understand why. Powdered milk does not sound exciting. It does not look exciting. But it lasts 15 to 25 years when stored properly, and it gives you access to milk long after the fresh stuff in your fridge has gone bad. I started keeping powdered milk in my pantry about 2 years ago after a winter storm knocked out power in my area for 3 days. Everything in the fridge went bad. The milk, the eggs, the cheese. Gone. But the powdered milk in the cabinet was fine. I mixed it with water, and my kids did not even notice the difference in their cereal. You can find powdered milk at Walmart, at Costco, and online. A large can from a brand like Augustin Farms or Peak runs about $20 to $30 and gives you dozens of servings. Store it sealed and away from heat and moisture. When fresh milk prices spike, which they have been doing consistently, you already have a backup that costs a fraction of the price. This is one of those quiet moves that separates people who plan ahead from people who scramble. Item number 6. Salt is the most overlooked long-term food item, and it is also one of the cheapest. Pure salt with no additives has an indefinite shelf life. It does not go bad. It does not lose its potency. It just sits there waiting for you to use it. And beyond seasoning, your food salt is essential for preserving other foods. You can salt cure meats. You can use it in fermentation. You can use it in cleaning and first aid. I picked up a 25-pound bag of pure salt from a restaurant supply store for about $6. $6 for something that will literally last forever and has dozens of uses. Most people buy those little canisters at the grocery store for $2 or $3 each. Over time, that adds up to way more than just buying in bulk once. Get yourself a large bag of non-iodized pure salt. Store it in a dry container. You are done. You never have to think about it again. In a world where everything seems to expire and everything seems to get more expensive, salt is the ultimate budget hack. It is sitting right there in plain sight, and most people walk right past it. Item number 7. Canned vegetables and fruits. I know what you are thinking. Canned food is obvious. Everyone knows about canned food. But here is what most people get wrong. They assume canned goods only last a year or two because of the date on the label. That date is a best by date, not an expiration date. Properly stored canned vegetables and fruits can last 5 to 8 years, and sometimes longer. The food inside is sealed in a sterile environment. As long as the can is not dented, rusted, or swollen, the food is safe. I went through my own pantry a while back and found canned green beans with a best by date from 3 years earlier. I opened them up. They looked fine. They smelled fine. They tasted fine. I had been throwing away perfectly good food for years based on a date that does not mean what most people think it means. Stock up when there are sales. Walmart and Aldi regularly run deals on canned vegetables and fruits. Buy extra every time you shop. Even just 2 or 3 extra cans per trip adds up fast. Store them in a cool, dark place like a basement shelf or the back of a closet. Over the course of a year, you will build a pantry that could carry your family through weeks of tight budgets or unexpected disruptions. And you will have done it for almost nothing extra per week. Item number 8. Pasta. Dried pasta is another one of those staples that most people do not realize lasts as long as it does. When stored in airtight containers away from moisture, and light dried pasta can last 8 to 10 years easily. Some experts say even longer. And pasta is one of the most calorie-dense affordable foods you can buy. I checked prices at 3 different stores last week. A 1-pound box of spaghetti at Walmart was still under $1.50. At Aldi, it was even less. But here is what caught my attention. Durum wheat prices have been volatile because of climate-related harvest issues in parts of Europe and North America. That means pasta prices could jump noticeably in the next 12 to 18 months. Buy extra pasta now. Store it in sealed containers or mylar bags. A $10 investment in pasta today could easily be worth $15 or $20 by next year based on the pricing trends we are seeing. And unlike a lot of investments, this one feeds your family. That is real value. That is the kind of move that adds up quietly over time. Item number 9. Freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. This is one that a lot of people overlook because they associate freeze-dried food with camping or emergency kits. But freeze-dried fruits and vegetables can last 25 to 30 years, and they retain almost all of their original nutrition. The freeze-drying process removes moisture without destroying vitamins and minerals. When you rehydrate them, they taste remarkably close to fresh. I tried freeze-dried strawberries for the first time about a year ago, and I was genuinely surprised. They were crunchy and sweet, and my kids actually preferred them to fresh strawberries as a snack. That was not what I expected. Companies like Augerson Farms, Thrive Life and Mountain House sell freeze-dried produce in number 10 cans that stack and store easily. Yes, the upfront cost is higher than buying a bag of frozen strawberries. But when you calculate the cost per serving over the shelf life of 25 plus years, the math changes completely. You are paying pennies per serving for food that will still be good when your kids are adults. If you can afford to add 1 or 2 cans per month to your pantry, do it. Future, you will be grateful. Item number 10. Peanut butter in powdered form. Regular peanut butter lasts maybe a year or 2 after opening, but powdered peanut butter can last 10 to 15 years when stored in a sealed container. It has most of the protein and flavor of regular peanut butter with a fraction of the fat and a dramatically longer shelf life. I started buying powdered peanut butter from brands like PB2 and PB Fit about a year ago. At first, it was just a health thing. Lower calories, less fat. But then I realized the shelf life advantage, and it changed how I thought about it entirely. You just add water and stir, and you have peanut butter. You can also toss the powder directly into smoothies, oatmeal, or baking recipes. Pick up a few extra jars or cans of powdered peanut butter on your next shopping trip. Store them sealed in a cool, dry place. Peanut butter prices have been climbing because of weather impacts on peanut crops in the southern United States. Having a long-lasting alternative already in your pantry means you are not at the mercy of whatever the grocery store decides to charge next month. That is a powerful position to be in. Item number 11. Maple syrup. Here is the one I teased at the beginning, and I think it is going to surprise a lot of you. Pure maple syrup, when stored properly, can last indefinitely. That is right, indefinitely. Similar to honey, its high sugar content and density create an environment where bacteria simply cannot thrive. If it develops mold on the surface, you can actually skim it off, heat the syrup to a boil, and it is perfectly safe to use again. Most people do not know this, Most people see a little mold and throw the whole bottle away. That is money straight in the trash. I had a bottle of maple syrup in the back of my pantry for over 3 years. I assumed it was done. I almost threw it out. Then I did some research and found out that maple syrup stored in glass or sealed plastic in a cool, dark place essentially does not go bad. I opened it up. It was perfect. I had been about to waste a $12 bottle of syrup for no reason. Here is the move. Buy pure maple syrup, not the pancake syrup that is mostly corn syrup. Look for deals at Costco or Trader Joe's. Store it in glass containers if possible. Once opened, keep it in the fridge or freezer. It will not freeze solid because of the sugar content, but it will stay fresh for years. With maple syrup prices rising because of shorter tapping seasons in Canada and the Northeast United States, buying now and storing smart is a genuinely good financial decision. And honestly, it just feels good to know something that most people around you do not. Item number 12. Hardtack and pilot bread. This one goes way back. Hardtack is a simple cracker made from flour water and a little salt. It has been used for centuries by soldiers and sailors because it lasts basically forever when kept dry. Pilot bread is the modern version, and it is still produced today. In Alaska, pilot bread is a genuine staple food. People depend on it. I ordered a case of Sailor Boy pilot bread from Amazon a few months ago, just to try it. It is dense, it is plain, but it is filling and it stores for years without any special packaging. You can eat it with peanut butter, with honey, with canned soup, or just on its own. A single case of pilot bread can sit on a shelf for over a decade and still be perfectly good. If you want something even simpler, you can make hardtack at home with 3 ingredients and an oven. There are dozens of recipes online. It costs almost nothing to make, and it gives you a calorie-dense food that lasts longer than almost anything else in your kitchen. This is the kind of old-school practical knowledge that our grandparents understood, and that most of us have forgotten. It is worth remembering. Item number 13. Instant coffee and whole coffee beans. Coffee lovers, pay attention. Instant coffee stored in a sealed container can last 20 years or more. Whole coffee beans stored in vacuum-sealed bags or mylar with oxygen absorbers can last well over a decade. Even ground coffee, when sealed properly, lasts much longer than most people think. I am a coffee person. I drink it every single morning. And when I saw coffee prices jump again earlier this year, I started thinking about long-term storage. Arabica coffee prices have been surging because of climate disruptions in Brazil and Vietnam, which together produce more than half the world's coffee. Some analysts are projecting another 15 to 20% increase by mid-2027. So here is what I did. I bought several large containers of instant coffee and a few bags of whole beans and vacuum sealed them. Total cost was about $40. If prices keep climbing the way, experts predict that $40 worth of coffee could easily be worth $60 or $70 within a year or two. And even if prices stabilize, I still have coffee that I am going to drink anyway. There is no downside. Buy what you already use. Store it properly. Lock in today's price. It is that simple. Item number 14. Bouillon cubes and powdered broth. This is one of those tiny items that most people never think about, but it makes a massive difference in long-term food storage. Bouillon cubes and powdered broth can last 5 to 10 years when stored in sealed, airtight containers. And they turn plain rice, plain beans, and plain pasta into actual meals that taste good. I keep a large jar of chicken bouillon and beef bouillon in my pantry at all times. When I cook rice, I add a cube to the water. When I make beans, I toss in some powdered broth. The difference in flavor is enormous, and the cost is almost nothing. A jar of bouillon cubes at Walmart is about $3 and contains dozens of servings. Think about it this way. If you ever had to rely on your long-term pantry for an extended period, the difference between eating plain white rice and eating seasoned, flavorful rice is not just about taste. It is about morale. It is about keeping your family comfortable during an uncomfortable time. A $3 jar of bouillon could be the thing that makes your stored food feel like real food. Do not skip this one. It is small, but it matters more than you think. Item number 15. Apple cider vinegar. I saved this one for last because it is one of the most versatile items on this entire list. Apple cider vinegar has an almost indefinite shelf life. The acidity prevents bacterial growth, and over time, it may develop a cloudy substance called the mother, which is actually a sign of quality, not spoilage. It does not go bad. It just sits there getting more useful. You can use apple cider vinegar for cooking, for salad dressings, for cleaning surfaces, for preserving other foods, and even for personal care. I use it to make homemade pickled vegetables, which themselves last for months in the fridge. I use it to clean my kitchen counters. I use it as a rinse for fruits and vegetables. One bottle does the work of 3 or 4 separate products. Buy a large jug of apple cider vinegar. Bragg's is the most popular brand, but store brands work fine too. A gallon jug costs about $8 to $12 and will last you a very long time. Store it in a cool, dark place. It does not need to be refrigerated. In terms of cost per use, this might be the single best value item in your entire pantry. And it never expires. That is hard to beat. Now, let us step back and look at the bigger picture here. Every single item on this list shares something in common. They are affordable, they last for years, and they protect you from rising prices and unexpected disruptions. That is not a coincidence. That is a strategy. The pattern is clear. The smartest thing you can do with your grocery budget in 2026 is stop thinking week to week and start thinking year to year. Every time you buy an extra bag of rice, or an extra jar of honey, or an extra can of vegetables, you are locking in today's price. You are building a buffer between your family and whatever happens next. Whether that is another price spike, a job change, a natural disaster, or just a really tight month. Most people will not do this. Most people will keep buying exactly what they need for the next 3 days, and nothing more. And when prices go up again, they will feel it. They will complain about it. But they will not have done anything to prepare for it. You are different. You are watching this video. You are paying attention. You are already ahead. If this video helped you think about your pantry differently, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put out content like this every week. Real practical information that helps you protect your money and make smarter choices. No hype, no fear-mongering. Just honest, straightforward advice from someone who is doing the same thing you are. Trying to take care of a family in a world where everything keeps getting more expensive. Drop a comment below and tell me which item on this list surprised you the most. I read every single comment and I use your feedback to make better videos. Next week, I have something coming that I think is going to open a lot of eyes. You will want to be here for that one. Until then, take care of yourself. Take care of your family, and stay ahead of the curve. I will see you in the next one.